Welcome back to the Wargrove of Woe. In today's episode, I'm going to be taking a look at Volturnos and the unnamed variant, the Achillian King. I wanted to apologize for no upload yesterday. This week I had got scheduled triple what I was used to at my regular job, so I was really exhausted yesterday and I just kind of needed to take a little bit of a breather. But hopefully we should be back onto regular schedule soon. Without further ado, let's get started. So, Volturnos High King of the Deep comes in at 260 points. He has a stat line of 14-inch move, 8 bravery, 8 wounds, and a 3-up save. He has 3 melee profiles. The Astra Solus, it has 1-inch reach, 5 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, d3 damage. Uasal Fanged Claws and Talons, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. And then Uasal's Lashing Tails, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 2s to wound, no rend, 2 damage. And then a really powerful command ability, where if you are in the High Tides ability, so this is one of the Idoneth Deepkin's alliance abilities, where during the third battle round they all fight first. If that is true, you can pick up to 3 different Idoneth Deepkin units wholly within 18 of Volturnos, and you can give them +1 attack. This is really, really powerful just on principle because during the High Tides ability, you are going to be crippling your opponent. And if you can just drive that dagger deeper, all the better. So getting to have yet another attack to outshine your opponent in that battle round is really powerful to just kind of kill everything in one fell swoop. It's definitely a very good ability. For unique abilities, he has quite a few. He has Fly, 6 is to hit with Astra Solus, has a rend of 5. He gives +1 bravery to Idoneth Deepkin units wholly within 18. He has a 3-up spell ward. You can reroll hit rolls of 1 for a friendly Achillian units wholly within 18 of him. And he does D3 mortal wounds on the charge on a 2-up. So all these abilities are really strong, especially the rerolling ones to hit for friendly Achillian units. If you are not aware, Achillian units are currently the best units in the Idoneth Deepkin roster. They are the eels and the Alopex shark. They're generally the hammer blow for all of the Idoneth lists out there. So augmenting their combat power is really, really powerful. That combined with a command ability, and you can have some really scary units on Battle Round 3. So Volturnus's battlefield role is he's a very good force multiplying unit for his command ability and his rerolling ones for Idoneth Deepkin's most powerful units. And considering what he does and his combat abilities, he's very cheap. You can include him more or less guilt-free in all lists if you want to. And he's a good melee fighter. If you're wanting to maximize Volturnus, I would keep him near your hammer units, so your Achillian Eels and Alopex if you have one, so they can benefit from the command ability as well as the rerolls. I would also say he's a great way to just kind of put in there alongside the Eels to help dish out even more damage. Before we move on, I'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters. It is amazing to see that this community has grown large enough to where it can have some Patreon members. So thank you very much. If you're interested in supporting the channel and supporting what I do, there's a link to the Patreon in the description below. Or if you just want another avenue to interact with the community or hang out with me, there is a link to my Discord in the description as well. Next up is the Achillian King. This is the unnamed variant of Volturnus. He comes in at 230 points, so about 30 points cheaper than Volturnus. He has almost the exact same stat line as Volturnus, except he only has 7 wounds instead of 8. And for melee profiles, he has quite a few just because he can choose between either a bladed polearm or a greatsword, and he also has a third melee weapon, the falchion, that he can kind of pull out if he wants. So the bladed polearm, you have 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 2 rend, d3 damage. The Greatsword, 1-inch reach, 4 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, d3 damage. And then the Falchion, 1-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. And then the mount attacks, the Deep Mare's Fanged Jaw and Talons, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. And then the Deep Mare's Lashing Tail, 2-inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 2s to wound, no rend, 2 damage. So the Achillian King has a similar command ability to Volturnos. It is just slightly weaker. It has another condition where the Achillian King must be the general for the command ability to work, and it needs to be in the High Tides ability. If true, you can pick only one Idoneth Deepkin unit wholly within 12 to give the +1 attack. So powerful, but not as powerful as Volturnos is. Then for unique abilities, he has a lot of the similar ones as Volturnos, just a few different ones. He has Fly, and then the Bladed Polearm has a damage characteristic of flat 3 if you make a charge move, so pretty powerful. And you can attack with whatever melee weapon you equip it with, and the Falchion, but you would get a -1 to save. So how they kind of explain it is, if you see in the picture, the King has a shield. Basically, in order to attack with the Falchion, he has to put away his shield, so he gets a slightly weaker save for a little bit more offensive power. He has the rerolling hit rolls of 1 for friendly Achillian units wholly within. That's supposed to be 12 instead of 18. That's a typo on my end. And he also deals D3 mortal wounds on the charge on a 2+. So you might be asking, why would I ever take the Achillian King over Volturnos? Well, there's a few reasons. For starters, he's cheaper than Volturnos. He's even easier to include in a list if you really want to. And since they're not named, you can take command traits and artifacts to further augment their abilities one way or the other depending on what you want. Also, they have a different selection of melee weapons. And for all of those upsides, they're only slightly weaker than Volturnos. Some would argue that they might have a little bit more combat abilities just with the different artifacts and weapon they can give, but that is debatable. So to maximize the efficientness of your Achillian King, keep near your hammer units similar to Volturnos, and consider the Unstoppable Fury command trait and the Ankusha Spurs if you want a combat hero build. And I personally would always equip with the Bladed Polearm. The guaranteed 3 damage per attack on the charge is really powerful. I just think there's not really a reason to go for the Great Blade, also considering that it has 1 less pip of rend. Well, that was a short little video talking about the Volturnos and the Achillian King. These two are staples of most Idoneth Deepkin lists, and it's not hard to see why. They buff up the best units, and they are really cheap and easy to use and include in various lists. So definitely a good pickup if you are looking at starting an IDK army. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like or a comment. If you like my type of content, consider subscribing. I try to upload once every other day. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next time.